Hey everybody, welcome back.
Hey y'all, welcome back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a while. I wanted to talk to you guys about surrogacy delays.
Delays.
Ah,
So many delays.
so many delays. Yes.
We kind of wanted to talk about the delays from the beginning to like where we are now, and just give you guys some insight into those things that you could expect, or things that hopefully from our mistakes you learn how to avoid and ask the right questions.
Exactamundo. It happened to us, it might happen to you. So, our first thing we want to talk about. We touched on this one lightly a couple of times, I believe, or maybe one time. But the fact that my sperm was not operating the right way. My sperm was doing some interesting things.
Like what?
For example, I had some guys that were not swimming at all. I had some guys that was swimming in circles, not going where they're supposed to go. I had some guys that had two tails instead of one.
Two tails are always better than one.
Not in this case. So then also we had two heads going on. It was a lot happening, and also the sperm count was low too. So I had to take some time. I think it took like a month for me to start exercising, to start eating right, and go back at it. And the second time I went back in and we did it, the sperm count was up and the guys were looking better. And like I also said before, all guys have those mutation things going on. So some guys just have more than others, like myself. So if you have some of that stuff going on, don't get discouraged. Every guy has that.
Yeah, and then I think also too, and I'm not calling you old because you're not, but age also
Just low key call me old. That's what you.
Age also plays a small factor in that too as you get a little older. So something to think about.
Just call me old. So that's my take from that. So yeah, don't get discouraged if you have all those things going on. You know, take some time off, relax, drink some water, eat right, work out. You'll be fine.
So delay number 2 was the lawyer contracts. So remember, in our situation, we have a known egg donor, and additionally, we have a known surrogate. So mind you, if we would have had an egg donor that we didn't know, the legal process would have been a little less complicated. But it wasn't. So we had to literally negotiate a contract between a very dear friend, which we weren't the problems. Like, us or Sam. It was the lawyers that just did their lawyering. And in particular, I think one of our lawyers is not from the District of Columbia. They practice law in Massachusetts. And they just kind of had some language in there that the DC attorney, the DMV-based attorney just wasn't feeling. So it was a lot of back and forth with that. It was a lot of like them questioning us. It was like a test, honestly, between us and Sam. Like, do you guys have faith in each other? And what should we put in this contract to beef up whatever insecurities you may have? And then the other complication was the contract between our surrogate and us. And babe, you want to talk about that a little bit?
So with our surrogate, there was a lot of going back and forth with the lawyer that we had. Our lawyer, and expect this, the lawyers get paid every time they do an update to your contract.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in their benefit to update those contracts. So they're going to nitpick. They're going to find certain things. This is my assumption, or our assumption. We feel like there's a lot of nitpicking happening. Reasons to go back and update your contract.
It was Zika stuff in the contract still.
It was
not feeling that Zika stuff.
Yeah, it was some grammar in there, I think.
Oh, grammar, yeah.
Yeah, that she wanted us to change, and there's two lawyers working with us, and one of the lawyers told us that she was definitely picking at some things that he wouldn't have picked that. It was
Yeah.
kind of like, he was kind of like, well, why is she being so, so like that about it?
Oh, the escrow account. Who was going to hold the escrow account for the surrogacy payments? And she was not feeling the fact that we're going to use our attorney's escrow account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
So
that's
that took
right.
a whole week to go back and forth about it. It was like, damn, it's just a place where you holding the money until she can make the drawdowns or whatever. But that was a whole issue.
Those contracts take a while, and you can't move on until the contracts are done, which makes sense. But
right, because the clinic, like our fertility clinic, wouldn't even want to work with us until they knew that we had a solid agreement.
So we have one of the requirements is you have to do counseling for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in our case, we have a surrogate and we have an egg donor. So it was 4 people involved, and we had a counselor, a therapist. She was. You want to tell them about that?
I mean, like, you know, we were all about let's support our community. You know, let's support somebody that look and sound like us, that might know our struggles. And also somebody that could really, like, we thought would be, like, very, make us all feel real comfortable. But, I don't know. A little bit of fuckery took place where this probably could have been, like, maybe, like, a 4-session thing, and that's fine if that's the route we was going to go. But it looked like she kind of wanted to make it more of an ongoing situation. And instead of being responsive to the things that we needed in order to pass this first step on our surrogacy process, she wasn't doing it.
We had all of our sessions done, and we were jazzed that we had finished it, and they were helpful. We really enjoyed it, and some things came up that we weren't thinking about. So we were like, wow, that was a really good session, and we're glad that we were actually forced to do that. But when we got to the end of it, we needed just a letter from the therapist to state that we finished the therapy sessions, that we understood everything that's involved with surrogacy. Not just us, but the surrogate and egg donor had to be aware of all the information too. And we just needed like a letter just stating that we had finished everything. And the therapist basically said that she would do a report, but the report was going to be long and lengthy, and it was going to be very expensive.
Yeah, it was like a session and a half in terms of the pricing she was giving us, and it was just like, no, our doctor is like, we just need you to basically write a letter.
But we just need a letter. That's all we need.
That y'all cover X, Y, and Z topics. Mainly the topics that we talked about. You know, what does it mean for us to have a child that has all of our genetic makeups? Are we agreeing, like, you know, who the parents are? Do we understand the process of surrogacy in a sense, and what this means and what this entails? And do we all understand all these agreements, and do we want to move forward? That's pretty much all they need to be in the letter.
Yeah. So we basically was like, that's all we need. Can you give that to us? And then she disappeared. Like,
just
what kind of
bounced.
therapist does that? Just disappears on you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But thank God we had, I like to call her our project manager, our program manager. She came through with a pinch, and she found a counselor that we worked with one session.
Yes.
And got everything done like we needed to get
Everything
done.
finished. So,
And it went through our insurance, so we didn't have to come out of pocket for that, which I was very appreciative of.
that part. So if you have to work with a therapist, if it's a requirement for you, wherever you are, whatever state, whatever you are in the world, in the country, make sure you tell them everything that you need before you start the sessions and have them agree to that. Working with our fertility clinic. So the first one, the first thing that happened is our egg donor. There was a certain shot that she had to take that would prevent her from ovulating, and they just totally forgot to tell her that.
Yeah, completely.
Just didn't tell her. So
They had her on the other medicine though.
Right. Yeah, everything else was on schedule, but just didn't tell her, oh, you gotta take a shot to stop yourself from ovulating. So she ovulated and had her period. Is that the correct way to say that?
No, she ovulated. That's what it was. It's just because once she started to ovulate, they weren't able to extract the eggs.
Boom.
and that just threw everything off.
So that basically meant that we had to just wait a whole nother month.
A whole nother month.
Yeah. With our actual surrogate, the woman that's carrying our child or going to carry our children, she partakes in smoking the marijuana.
She do herbs sometimes.
She do a little herbs sometimes.
Sometimes.
She is not like she doesn't smoke weed like all the time, and not that there's not anything wrong with that. It's just with her, she just doesn't do that all the time. Every once in a while, she will, smoke a little bit of the marijuana. So we knew this, going into it, and we had a discussion that, of course, she just wouldn't do it, during
Pregnancy.
childbirth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she had that mindset, and so what had happened is 420 came up, and for people that don't know, 420, it's kind of a celebration for people that like to smoke weed. And so on that day,
You gotta say reefer, baby.
reefer,
Be people who want to smoke that reefer.
smoke that reefer, that right there,
That dope.
that right there. I don't know if I call it dope, but yeah. So she, yeah, because our surrogate, what makes us also comfortable with her is that she's been totally upfront with this stuff from the gate. Like, she never tried to hide that from us or anything. And then also, we just really realized this. We had forgot about it, but she actually told our fertility clinic about the fact that she sometimes, smokes weed. So the fertility clinic, we feel, should have been an alert then. And,
Right. They could have been like, yo, you're about to do a drug test before a transfer. You want to make sure that you don't have any weed in your system.
Yeah.
Or any other drug.
our fertility clinic was just red alerts went off everywhere, which we appreciate that they would step in and say, hey, this is for someone that smokes weed, this is what can happen. But they
try to act like it was a holiday heart situation, and she was trying to steal somebody's tricycle and got hit by a car.
You would think that it was Dave Chappelle, the crackhead he played on Dave Chappelle's show.
Tyrone Biggums.
Oh my God! You would think that she was scratching and just she was just like a straight up fiend. Like, that's basically how they came at us. They went in total red alert. Put a halt to everything. They said we had to basically go and first of all, we had to go meet with a maternal fetal specialist. So yeah, we had to wait for her OBGYN to give her a referral to a maternal fetal specialist. So, and she had to meet with the maternal fetal specialist as well as us. So basically the point of that was so that they could basically explain to her all the risk of smoking weed while you're pregnant, what can happen to the baby, what can happen in the pregnancy. So that took a while because we had to actually schedule that, and we had to wait for their clinic to actually
have an opening. And they were full for like at least a month
to push back another month. So
the cool part about it, she had to go to the first appointment by herself.
Yes.
Then we had to have a conversation with that same person.
Yes, which had to also be scheduled.
Which also took a while.
Yes, and then they have to do a report at the end of their visit that we have to forward to our fertility clinic.
Yes.
Which that report took a long time to happen as well.
And lastly, then she had to go retest.
Yes, and then she had to go and do another drug test. After that, which had to also be scheduled, which have to also wait for
a referral to get sent so she can take the test.
So she could take the test, and also had to wait for the weed to be out of her system,
right?
So that she could take the test and pass it, because it had to pass for us to move forward. We feel like we could have been 5 months pregnant by now, like realistically, because of all these delays. It's like you're kind of anxious because you're ready because you're ready to be parent. We are ready to be parents, and so. It's delays. It's delays that will happen. Try not to get too discouraged. You're not the only ones that's going through it. You're not the only ones that's been through it. And it's normal. You're not doing anything wrong.
Nope.
Don't feel like that. It's just, you know, it happens. So on the bright side, we can say that we are looking for July to be our transfer date. So which is next month for us.
Yes.
So please put some positive energy out there,
Yes.
positive vibes for us. You know, yes, we're knocking on wood, we're knocking on everything.
Yep. So hopefully, our next video we can talk to you about what that process will be. Probably when we get the calendar, maybe we should just do a video and talk about that.
Yeah.
So y'all can see what the calendar look like. But please keep us in your thoughts and prayers, and we appreciate being able to catch up with y'all.
Yes. Until next time.
Okay then, y'all. Bye.
Bye.